So in this video we're going to be putting in the catch wires. This is the second part of the trellising video. So if you've missed the first part, we covered putting in the ground anchors at the end of the lines. We also put the main trellis line in, and we also put the stakes in which hold each vine. But in this video we're going to be putting in the catch wires, which essentially hold the leaf wall in a vertical trellising system that we're doing, a vertical leaf wall, and all the fruit will then dangle from the main trellis line underneath. And the reason why we've gone for that method is, first of all, picking the grapes is going to be fairly easy, and because it's at a nice height. I haven't put them lower down because I didn't want rabbits and things like that to get them, so they're nice and high. And the catch wires is a relatively easy method of just holding all the foliage above the grapes. So I'm hoping that it will work out quite nicely. But there's only a few tools that you need to do or need to have to put the catch wires in. And I put them on the floor down here. You essentially need a hammer, some hook nails, which are fantastic to be honest, some chain, these wire tensioners, tensioning device, a tape measure, and that's really about it. So without further ado, we're going to put these catch wires in the rest of the rows, and you'll see the heights and how I put them in. The main trellis line is about 1.5 meters from the ground. The first set of catch wires here is about a foot or so, 30 centimeters, 25-30 centimeters above the main trellis line, and the next set of catch wires is another 30 or 35 centimeters above the first. So essentially you've got 105, round about sort of 135, 130, something like that above the ground, and then finally about 165 centimeters, 1 meter 65 centimeters above the ground for the top catch wire. They're not absolutely, necessary to be spot on with these. It's really just to hold the foliage. If it's like 5-10 centimeters either way, I can't really see that making a big difference, but that's how I've done it. And yeah, we'll see next spring, or next summer rather, whether that's right, but I'm pretty sure that's how a lot of other people do it. But if you've got other information contrary to that, put it in the comments below. Okay, different day, and the sun has been replaced by a lot of fog and mist. But anyway, first things first, we're going to put the hook nails on the end trellis, end post, and we're going to put it about 30 centimeters, 25-30 centimeters above the main trellis line. So I'm going to put one about there. We want to put the hook nail about 45 degrees to the angle to which the line is going to go, and so this is the first one of two. Okay, that will do for the first line there, and the top trellis line is going to be another sort of 30-35 centimeters above the first lot of catch wires there. So we're going to put one about this sort of level here. Anyway, it's not too critical, but 30-35 centimeters is the next one. So we'll put one or two more at that level, and then those are the hook nails done on the end posts. Okay, so those are our 4 hook nails in place, and what we do now is we get our chains, and essentially all these do is that they just hook on to the end like that, with our catch wires held in position on the chain running along like that. And I tend to put them halfway, or hook them on first of all halfway along, which means I can tighten them if need be, or loosen them like that. But if I just show you on one which I've done already. Right, so we've run a bit of 2mm galvanized wire from the far end to the end here. I've just hooked it round the end of the chain, and I can tidy it up with this little special tool here. Let's see if we can just do it quickly. About 4 or 5 turns should do it, and then we'll just snip that off as close to the coil as possible. So eventually you end up with a wire linked to the chain like that, and then all I do is put that halfway along on like that, Okay, we do exactly the same at the other end. So essentially we've got a wire that is just dangling between the two end posts, and it's sort of floppy from one end to the next, but we want to take out some of this slop. So we use one of these devices, which I'll put in the link in the description below. And we just put that on the wire like that. And all we do is we just literally just turn it to take up some of the slack, and it doesn't take too much. It doesn't take too many turns before a lot of the slack is taken out. There we go, do a little bit more. A little bit more maybe. There we go. And there we have it. So the slack's been taken out. We can, as I say, because we put it on the chain here, we can loosen it, we can take it off, we can gather up all the foliage if need be, or when we come to do it, gather up all the foliage and put the chain back into the position. Or, as I've seen some people do it, they keep the wires in position all the time, and they literally just scoop up all the foliage and just stuff it in between the two catch wires here, making the leaf wall that's necessary to do this particular method of training the vines. I put this tensioner on this end. You're probably wondering why there's no tensioner on this wire. Well, I've done exactly the same, but at the other end. The only thing left to do is to put the hook nails now on each of the posts, and I'll show you how to do that now. Okay, when it comes to putting these hook nails into the stakes that hold the catch wires along the rows, we want to use the same measurements above the main trellis wire. We're going to be using sort of 30 and then about 35 or so. So we're going to be putting one about there and another one on there, each side. There is a little tip that I can recommend, and this I got from winegrowers.info, really helpful website and a really helpful chap that runs it. Rather than putting the hook nails at 90 degrees to the stake, if you put them at 45 degrees to the stake like that, when it's blowing or windy, rather than the wire sort of rattling and coming out of the hook, they're actually held more, because this is an angle, they're held closer to the stake itself. So they're just bound a lot tighter to the stake, and they don't rattle out when the wind is blowing. This is particularly the case when you've got a lot of foliage catching the breeze as well, and the catch wires will rattle. So put them at 45 degrees, and I'll show you on another one which I've done exactly how this works. So we're just going to bang that one in, and we're going to do the same up here and on the other side, keeping these hook nails about 45 degrees to the angle of the direction of travel for the wire. Okay, with this one I can demonstrate exactly what I mean. So this hook nail's been put in at 45 degrees, and rather than being here where it could rattle out and just sort of flop to one side, this one I can push in, and now this wire is being held tight against the post, and if it's windy and rattly, it's not going to come out anywhere near as easily. So that's a good little tip that I got from them. That's it. So once you've done that on both sides, you've got the two end rows done as well with the chains, you should end up with something looking a little bit like this. You've got some fairly sort of wires that have got quite a bit of give in, as have these as well. But they can be tensioned with those special tools on the wire, and also with the chains as well. And essentially, when you get loads of foliage starting to grow from the vines, and they start to droop down, you can start tucking them inside the catch wires, and they'll eventually grow into a nice leaf wall, which is exactly what you want. The fruit itself will dangle from the main trellis line, and all the foliage will be held in these catch wires above. So really that's the second part of the trellising video. If you've not watched the first part, I'll put the link in the I think in the top right hand corner, and you can click on that, and that will go on about how to do the ground anchors, the main trellis line, putting the stakes in and everything like that. But as for the moment, that's probably it for this video. I'll be doing loads more videos on how we develop our vineyard here, and everything else that we do on our small holdings. So click the subscribe button and the little notification bell, and until the next video, bye for now.